you kind of have to trust people. You have to trust that the people who love you and care about you, they're on to something. You have to trust that. Hello, everyone. Just checking in here. Today is my 29th birthday, and I felt inspired to just drop a little quick spontaneous video. As someone who's been in their 20s for officially 9 years of their life, figured I'd probably have a couple of helpful insights for anyone who's still like in their early 20s or approaching their 20s or questioning their life, because the 20s are a pretty turbulent time for a lot of people. It's always marketed as though, it's the crazy party time of your life. You're just living your best life. You're out every night, drinking, partying, clubbing. And that's not the reality for a lot of people. It definitely wasn't the reality for me. And I personally am greatly looking forward to the next chapter. So I'm happy to be officially closing out a chapter of my 20s, having learned what I've learned. But I just have a few points I wanted to go over, just as maybe a little gift of insight. I'm thankful to be here, and I just wanted to share something of value today. But one of the major things I have learned in my 20s is that isolation won't protect you. A lot of sensitive people like me, a lot of people with social anxiety or struggled with anxiety like I have, we try to make the world more manageable by shrinking it down, especially when life starts becoming unfamiliar. And that may give you a sense of control, at least temporarily, but it's not anything that is substantial or fulfilling in the long run. I spent the vast majority of my 20s literally living in my room. And that can be very absolutely detrimental to your mental health. Just being brave enough to step out into the world, maybe expand your world just a little bit, just by doing something mundane. You don't have to go and have an adventure. I found it personally really helpful when I just went out for a little run, like grocery run, or just went out for a walk, like especially when I wasn't feeling up to it. 9 times out of 10 after I did that, I felt a lot better, a lot more clear-headed. I felt more stable emotionally. I personally used isolation as like a shield, especially after high school. I left this state where I had all my friends, where I felt the most stable, even though I was still very anxious. Like everything that was familiar to me, I left suddenly. I didn't even get to see the last day of high school, so it was pretty traumatic for me. And then, I was too scared to go out there and meet new people and go new places, because now you're stepping into this new stage of life where you're an adult now. And I was never the kind of person that really like looked forward to the unknown of adulthood. That was something that gave me great anxiety, and that led me to isolating myself. Like I felt, incapable, unprepared for the world. And in many aspects I was, but that wasn't going to change if, I wasn't willing to challenge myself in little ways, which I did gradually throughout my 20s. A lot of things that I thought I was never going to be able to do, I'm doing now. I'm driving around. I was so afraid of driving, so petrified of driving. I got my license 2 years and a month ago. I never thought I was going to be able to do that. Now I'm driving high. Like the next fear beyond that was like hitting the highway, like driving like high speed on the highway. I, conquered that. And even something as simple as like making a phone call, like making like a business call, or, just to handle business. That I used to get panic attacks for that. Like it was very difficult. All that to say, like creating a cocoon around yourself is not protecting yourself in the way you think it is. It really is only delaying the unfolding of your full potential. And it's not easy. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not saying, that you just go do it. Like you sometimes you got to build up to it. You got to take little baby steps, and there's nothing wrong with baby steps. But you have to do it scared. You have to do it clumsy. You have to do it wrong sometimes. And that's another thing that I've learned in my 20s is like being comfortable with, not with imperfection, with being wrong sometimes, or doing things wrong sometimes. And that's no mark or no indicator of your failure or incompetence or anything like that. It just means you're learning. And as someone who is highly sensitive, who was always hard on herself, sometimes still am, it can be easy to turn all of that resentment, vitriol, like inward towards yourself, to the point where you kind of lose motivation, or you think you're incapable of change or growth or anything like that. And that's an absolute lie. So I'm here to tell you, if that's how you're thinking or feeling, it's not true. It's not based in any sort of reality, as real as it may feel, as concrete as it may feel in your heart or mind. You are a being that is capable of change. You are a person that is capable of growth. However gradual it may appear, don't compare your life to anyone else's, because your struggles, your plights, your crosses to bear are your own. There are other people out there who probably wouldn't be able to function in your shoes, and vice versa. That's why it's such a huge disservice to ever compare your life to someone else's, because their circumstances are always going to be different from yours. Yeah, you're not always alone. Like, it isn't always, that's my other point. It isn't only you in these periods of doubt or struggle that you may have, especially in your 20s, when you're trying to figure out who you are outside of school and like all of these things you were told to want and be. You might feel alone in not knowing, but it isn't only you. It's never only you. We're a lot more similar than we ever think or ever consider. And that comforted me as well, just to know, like, yeah, I'm feeling lost, and there's a ton of other people feeling lost just like me, and maybe this is just a rite of passage, and maybe I don't have to be here forever, and maybe I get to take my time. And we live in a society that shames taking your time or moving at your own pace. It's like you're supposedly supposed to meet these milestones at a certain time, and that's what led to a lot of my depression and anxiety throughout my 20s. Like, a lot of misery was from, I'm not at this point, I'm not like them. But there's always somebody who has a similar story, not an exact one-to-one, but somebody who can relate. So it's not only you, and you can find those people out there. And that just circles back to isolation won't protect you. Some things are ordained, it almost seems ordained. Like, it could be just an innocuous trip to the grocery store. You might meet your best friend there, but you won't know if you don't go. And that's what I've been trying to push myself to do. That's what I have been pushing myself to do, is just getting out of the house more, because I spent so much of my 20s isolated, walled in, because I felt constrained by one thing or another, be it finances or, I can't drive, I don't have the money for an Uber. We have to take one step at a time towards our goals. And every step matters. It's literally one step closer. No matter how tiny the step is, you're moving in the direction, to accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish. And I'm here to let you know, like, just keep going. Don't doubt your trajectory. I know it may feel aimless at times, because I sure as hell felt aimless the majority of my 20s. Like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, where the hell I was going, if I was doing the right thing. But the questioning is inevitable, because we don't know the answer until we know the answer. And we have to be okay with not knowing the answer sometimes. And that is really hard, especially in a world that says, like, you have to have everything planned out, lined up, have to have all your ducks in a row. And sometimes, you do have to plan some things out really, really well. But not all the time. And especially not in your 20s. Like, you're figuring yourself out. Give yourself the grace to figure yourself out. Your whole life, you're going to be figuring yourself out. You're going to learn new things about yourself your entire life. But the fact that we're pressured to cram all of this self-discovery into a mere decade of our lives, that's what creates a lot of mental health issues, emotional health issues, and anxiety and depression and all these things. We're trying to fulfill all of these outer expectations without ever considering the strides we made. Like, we don't give ourselves nearly enough credit. I know you don't give yourself nearly enough credit. A lot of us don't. But besides that, once you kind of step out of the isolation period and you allow people in, or allow yourself to be seen, a lot more will open up for you. Because I had a visibility wound, and I know I still do, but I'm working on it. Like this fear of being visible, like after having been isolated for so long, you can come down on yourself. You kind of make yourself think, oh, like I don't deserve companionship or friendship, or I'm just invisible to the world. Like, and that can hurt. That can be very painful. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like your isolation reinforces your aloneness, which reinforces the idea that you need to be alone, deserve to be alone, or that you are not worthy of any kind of friendship or connection outside of whatever it is you do have. But that's not true. Not based in any sort of truth either. Like, all of these things are lies, but the brain doesn't know that. The nervous system doesn't know that. It takes all of this stuff as reality, and it can mess with you. It can really like play tricks on you. And that's why it's very important to dare to live, to dare to have a place in the world, even when it's scary. Because I still have moments where it's like, I feel so exposed. I go out into public spaces and I feel very exposed, especially when I'm wearing something nice or wearing something that makes me feel pretty. Like, that wound is still kind of present in the back of my mind, and it makes me like kind of look around like, man, how am I being perceived right now? But that's your opportunity for growth right there, in the uncomfortability of it. Being uncomfortable, that isn't proof of your weakness. Being uncomfortable and still pushing through it, that is a sign and evidence of your endurance and your ability to grow. Because if you work that muscle, if you allow yourself to be uncomfortable, if you push yourself through it despite it, and that means if you're at point A, you can get to point B. So you do have to work through it. Do it scared, do it clumsy, do it wrong. Just do it though. Make sure you do it. And at least put in that effort. And you'll feel, you might not in the beginning feel all that great about it, but the more you do it, you start building confidence in yourself, and you start seeing, oh yeah, I can do this now, I can do that, and I'm more free now. Like, and that is the best feeling, honestly, to get a hold of, especially in your 20s, just to have that autonomy and to know, yeah, I am capable of change. I am capable of breaking out of this mental prison that I've built for myself, or that has been built around me. We are capable of change, and we all have our own timelines through which we change. So if it takes you 10 years, it takes you 10 years. If it takes you 6 months, it takes you 6 months. But the change is what matters, not the timeline. I used to have so much shame about how I'm living, in this economy. I'm still, I've not had my own apartment yet, nothing that I've gotten on my own. But it's no longer really a point of shame, because I'm still contributing. I'm still working. I'm still working towards my own goals, and I'm learning to stop comparing myself. And that's a skill, a very, very, very important skill, because that steals all of your joy if you still operate from what are they doing? What are they doing? And where am I? And oh my God, am I better? Am I worse? Or it really can mess with you. But all that to say, it does get easier the more you work on yourself. Yeah, your 20s can be very turbulent, can be very scary. You're figuring yourself out. You're unlearning things you might have learned, that have been harmful. You're kind of establishing boundaries, hopefully, with people who haven't been a healthy influence on you. So just give yourself some grace, give yourself a lot of grace, because this world isn't easy. It's not an easy world to live in, especially right now, given all the circumstances, all the chaos in the world. But it does get better. Now, it may be a gradual process. There may be days where you don't see it. You just don't see it, but you keep going anyway. And you take even if it's just a little tiny infinitesimal step, like a little tiny little thing you could do to take care of you. You know, like do your hair, or wear a nice outfit, wear something nice, even if you're just going to the grocery store. Go take a 5 to 10 minute walk just to go out and be somewhere else. Sometimes that's what your mind needs and craves, is to be somewhere else and to be seen. Even if it's scary, your mind craves that connection, to be seen, to interact with people, as scary as it may be. I felt so alien for all of my 20s because it was like this paradoxical, is that a word? I think that's a word. Where it's like, oh yeah, I wanted this companionship, I wanted this friendship, I wanted like connection, but I was also so afraid of it. And it became a self-fulfilling prophecy where I was just kind of stuck standing and not making any efforts or moves to foster a connection. And just spontaneously, like just over time, my friend group gradually grew. I'm not saying I have like 50 friends now, but you don't need that. But I have all the friends I need. I have all the love I need in my life. My family loves me. My friends love me. I'm super thankful just to be here at 29, having learned what I learned and still am learning. The learning doesn't stop. I still have stuff I need to unlearn. I still have days where I struggle, still have days where I doubt myself. But that, like I said before, that isn't proof of anything. That doesn't speak to any flaw in you. It's just, it's a mental hurdle that you can overcome with habit, with challenging yourself bit by bit by bit, doing little things day by day, or week by week. And you will see the change. You will notice the change. There will come a point where you're so far ahead of who you used to be, where you can actually look back and notice the distance and notice the difference between the two of you. And it's also very important that you don't resent your past self either, because they're the ones that initiate or will initiate the change, the growth. And that's also something I've been learning. That there's a reason we learn at the pace we learn. There's a reason that we let go of the things when we let go of them. It's because that's really just the only way it could have gone. It really is. And focusing on the hypotheticals and the what ifs, agonizing over the what ifs, that's not healthy. That's not going to help you. Yeah, sure, things could have gone a different way or could be going a different way, but you got to work with what you have now. And nobody's life is perfect. Nobody's circumstance is perfect, but we have to work from where we're at and trust that we have the tools and the strength to take that step forward. However small or meager it may seem, it matters. It matters. And being out in the world, being seen, visibility isn't everything, but it isn't nothing, because we are social beings. We're social creatures. We're designed for connection. We are designed for camaraderie, for community. And we can't shove that away, and be stuck in these little digital worlds. Because I got stuck in that trap as well, especially like into my early 20s. Like I thought there was nothing else. I felt there was nothing else because I don't know, I was just locked. I was locked in a certain headspace where, I thought I could only get what I needed online because no one wanted me in real life. But that's not ever true. Like we can't give into our self-talk. You kind of have to trust people. You have to trust that the people who love you and care about you, they're onto something. You have to trust that. As hard as it may be, even though you may not see it, try to give in a little bit to that notion. Oh, I do have some merit. I do have something to offer the world. I am of value to the people who know me. And just let that in a little bit. As hard as it can be, as hard as it might be sometimes, you have to let that in. And you deserve it. You deserve to know that you have a place in the world, that you belong in this world. I don't know exactly what you personally may be going through or what you have gone through, but you have a place in this world, and you are capable of change, and you are capable of joy and happiness, camaraderie. You're capable of growth. You're capable of being free of the things that ail you, that keep you up at night. You know, you can do it. You can make it, and that is the greatest gift of all, is peace of mind. And as we all step towards that peace of mind, I do hope to see you along that journey. Just keep at it. Just keep going. Your 20s, they'll come, they'll go. And on the other side, you'll see all the things you've learned, all the things you've let go of. And then you'll have new lessons for your 30s onward. And I'm looking, personally, I'm looking very much forward to my 30s, having dropped a lot of baggage. And I'm still dropping it. And we're going to keep dropping it. And we're going to keep growing and keep leaving behind the things that hold us back, because we deserve to be happy. You deserve to be happy. And if nobody's telling you that, if nobody has told you that, I'm telling you that. You deserve to be happy. And on this lovely day, on this lovely Monday, I do wish you well. I do wish you all the growth and happiness that you can take in your heart right now. Just much love, much love. Here's to peace in a chaotic world. Until next time.